Okay. I'm live. Welcome to the Butler Square Consulting Accountant Roundtable discussion. Today I have some great information I want to share with you. I have a wonderful guest that I'm bringing on, and but before I get into that, man, tax day was yesterday. And if you did not get your taxes filed, listen, we're gonna work through it. It's no problem. Those of you that are my clients, listen, it's just we're gonna be scheduling meetings with you so we can get on the same page and make sure that we can finalize everything. So no worries. But also we have our event coming up on Friday, our client appreciation dinner. So we're excited about that. A lot of you bought your tickets, and so you're ready to go, and we're excited to celebrate with you. This is one you definitely don't want to miss. I mean, none of them you want to miss, but definitely this one, and next year either. So once you hear about the one for next year, you don't want to miss that one either. Now, also just to kind of like give you an idea, I have some other sessions that we're going to be doing preparing for the end of the year. This is something that we're going to be talking about, so you definitely want to tune in. Look at your emails. I send out these email blasts to all of our clients, especially when we're live on Facebook. And so anytime we put out content and you see that it's live for any reason, definitely tune in. But before I bring on my guest, I'm going to definitely bring on Melson, who's also working in this industry. Melson, welcome to our roundtable discussion, sir. I know we had a time trying to get through yesterday, tax season or tax day. Man, I'm glad I'm alive right now. I'm awake. How
You
about
better say that again. Thanks, Tom.
so, yeah, definitely. So Mel, like trying to recover from yesterday, but now we're shifting into planning for the rest of the year.
Mhm.
So what's on your agenda?
Oh, most certainly. Getting these clients caught up and getting them prepared for the next tax season starting in January. I'm about 2.5 months from now. So, well, be a little bit over 2.5 months, but this is like almost the second year in a row that I've had to do taxes all year long. So,
It seems like it doesn't
yeah,
stop, does it?
yeah, just
It's like once
nonstop.
you it's like it has this high season and then it goes back down to slow, and then but it's still there. It's
Hmm.
not gone anywhere. Then it goes back up again, because
Yeah.
of deadlines, all that kind of stuff happening. And
Hmm.
there's so much stuff that's happening. Like when you look at it, like this year is different than last year. Now we have employers, some of our clients who have to comply with Maryland Saves, meaning like
Hmm.
you have to have a retirement plan. I'm sure some of you got notices. So if you got a notice about the Maryland Saves program or that you need to have retirement, you need to let me know. We're
Hmm.
trying to get all of our clients up to date with the retirement options, 401k plans. So you don't want to miss that, because if you don't have something, there is a penalty. And the requirements are out there, but we want to make sure that you have understanding of what those requirements are. But
Right.
no, yeah, this is something that's brand new. So they always adding something else to our plate, right?
Always. Never ends.
No, it never does. It never does.
Hmm.
It's a good thing, it's a good thing. But at some point I'm like, can we slow down a little bit? Do we have to keep piling it on to these business owners? They're looking
Hmm.
like we got another mandate,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to the National Small Business Association conference a couple weeks ago, and I was privileged to meet one of the professionals there in the room, and she is amazing. We just exchanged information, and what she shared with me, I was like, Mel, we got to definitely share this with our clients, because a lot of
Mhm,
times we're trying to figure out how to scale our business or how to put in a budget, and just trying to figure out how do we price things. And she
mhm,
comes from a background. She's a business advisor and fractional CFO, supporting business owners in their entrepreneurial journey. And so
mhm,
that's one great thing about her. She keeps a sharp eye towards the bottom line. Many people want to understand the bottom line, but having an expert come in, looking at your bottom line is very key, and ties it to your financial goals back to operational strategy. So that's one thing
mhm,
that we got to consider. When we have a business, we want to make sure that we have things in place to help us to focus on scaling our business and strategizing.
mhm.
So I'm going to welcome Daisha Cooper to the stream, and welcome, Daisha. It's great to have you. Thank you so much, and but we're excited to hear from you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, great. So, Daisha, tell us a little bit about yourself, like, your experience with working with small business owners, just kind of an introduction for us so our clients can get to know you.
Yeah, of course. So I feel like a lot of people often ask me like my story. How did you get started in this? Like, you do fractional CFO work. Does that mean you're a CPA? And so I always like to give a little backstory of my career journey. I started in small business as a teenager with my dad, working in the industrial sector. We started a job shop together. I was a welder and fabricator who also did the bookkeeping. So I did half and half, and eventually bought my dad's company from him with two brothers and grew it from several 100,000 to several million over the next 6 years.
Hold on, pause right there for a second. Pause it. You just said that you bought your dad's business.
Yes.
So he didn't just pass it down to you and just say, "Here you
Nope.
go." You actually
Nope.
bought it. Okay, I
I
just want
bought
to
it
make
from him with
sure.
Right.
cash.
I
Yes.
just want to make sure to
Cash
stop
flow
there for a
investor.
second. I was like, "Oh, he didn't just pass it to you. He was like,
Oh,
you're gonna buy
no.
this business."
Yes. So, the thing about my dad, working with him and my brothers, is that they are industry experts in the industrial sector. They do electromechanical work, prototyping, engineering, design, really, really creative work. And my career journey was really learning how to best support them in making sure that we ran a business that was profitable and didn't stifle their creativity. So you get pretty creative. I took
Mhm.
my finance and accounting classes on the side and business classes as I needed them to learn as I grew my own business. So when I exited end of last year, it was with the intention of going out and supporting other industry experts and creative entrepreneurs to help them in their journey towards growth and profitability, to bring that skill set that I brought to my own family for many years. Stay very focused on where we headed when it comes to revenue, profitability, and what does that mean when it comes to operations. So
Mhm.
uh, that's a little bit of my story in a nutshell.
And what kind of business did your father have? You said
So we're in the industrial sector, small run
industrial.
manufacturing and electromechanical work.
Wow, wow. So listen, you have a lot of experience and understanding numbers and just like a lot of times people think that the accountant understands all the numbers, but I think it works as a team synergistically with
Mhm.
someone like yourself that come in and just basically look at the operational side and kind of understand where you're headed as a business owner and what is it that you're trying to do. The accountant's job, a lot of times people may think that we're the ones that do that, but we're really focused on where to place the numbers. Are they recorded appropriately versus strategizing to help you to build streams of income or something like that. But kind of speak to that for us for a moment. Just kind of like share with us kind of like how that differentiates you from the accountant side.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I work very closely with accountants. We want to
Yeah.
see like a chart of accounts that is detailing and tells a story about where we're spending our money, where our revenue streams are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But my side of it is taking that P&L, looking at the balance sheet, and then interpreting that story into operations. So looking at where our best investments are, where our best time is put with revenue streams, um, measuring those financials, building pro forma so we have forecasting for clients, and then tying that back to very clear metrics. For example, we can look at it and say we want to grow 20%, $1 million next year. That's awesome. But we can look back at trends of what we've grown organically or what has worked to grow the company, and then forecast and build a plan. So we need to hire two people. We need to create an
Mm-hmm.
SOP to streamline a certain operation. We're having troubles in culture, leadership type areas. How do we get buy-in from our employees in this journey? Supply chain issues, all of these things, like looking at the whole picture and saying, okay, we
Mm-hmm.
want to we want to achieve this revenue goal and this profitability goal, but what is the gap to solve in operations to make sure that happens? So a lot of times I'm looking at financials or talking to an accountant or a CPA for my clients, figuring it out, making sure we get the information and the data that we need, but then
Mm-hmm.
really communicating with the small business owner on the operational piece. Um, so that they're not just overwhelmed by the spreadsheets and the numbers, because that can get really difficult for most small business owners in the creative space. They just get really bogged down and overwhelmed by, what does this spreadsheet mean and what am I looking at? But when you
Mm-hmm.
put it into really clear action items, if we do this, we achieve this financial result. It makes a lot of sense, and it becomes a very powerful relationship with my clients, that they're suddenly meeting and achieving their goals or exceeding their goals by having this type of relationship with someone who can interpret and strategize with them.
That makes sense. And Melson, feel free to jump in here if you have questions. If you see questions in the chat,
Mhm.
Okay.
one thing you just said that really stuck out too is, is it time to hire an employee? How do we
Mhm.
know that we can afford to bring on another staff member? That's something I think that question comes up for me
Mhm.
quite often, and I always think, you know what, we have to look at your numbers, but someone like you come in and you basically that's your skill set, that's your knowledge.
Mhm.
How is it, like, say, like, for example, they want that extra staff person, kind of, can you give us a scenario of where
Yeah.
you've seen that they want, and like what you did to help them to identify if they could afford it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, there's a lot of facets to hiring, and depending on the type of position you're trying to fill. But recently, yeah, with one of my clients, I just helped them hire a salesperson. It was a position they'd had really high turnover in the past in this position. Compensation structure was not competitive with their industry or their area, and there was a real struggle for them. So I came in as an advisor. They were looking at very specific revenue goal that they wanted to reach, and they knew that this was one of their pain points. So one of the first things we did was outline what this person was going to do. We outlined what the position requirements were. We looked at competitive compensation,
Mm-hmm.
and then we built a ramp up plan. What is it going to cost the company to train this person? So we built out a budget for hiring. Um, and we know like key metrics of performance for this person now. So they need to be performing at these levels. And it's kind of like a best case and worst case scenario. So maybe they'll be faster than our plan, and this would be best case. Maybe it's going to take them longer to catch up. This is our worst case. And so the company knows, like, can we afford worst case scenario
Mm-hmm.
with the ramp up? And in this situation, I actually recruited for them, and I'm staying on as a liaison with this employee because it's a high dollar position. And so I'm consistently working with that employee on a weekly basis to debug uh, the problems that we've had in the past with retention. But my clients' words about this experience was, it's been transformative. They've
Mm-hmm.
never walked through this process of building a position inside their organization where they know how much it's going to cost them, the investment of cash up front, how long it's going to get them a return on investment of this position. And so we can build this very clear spreadsheet that shows, at this point, at 6 months, this person breaks even if they're at average performance. And
Mm-hmm.
then at this point, when they start performing to this point, here's where we can start offering commission. Here's where we can start offering bonuses. Here's where they'd be eligible for a promotion inside the company. And all of that is now built out for this person. And we were able to attract very high talent who is doing excellent in the job, because we have a very clear structure for him of
Mm-hmm.
earning potential and the expectations that we have in the position. So this is really something that makes a big difference for small business owners.
It does. And the thing is, and I'm using this as one of my favorite terms. So Mel, I'm sure you're gonna like this. You can take this as well. But what you do is incentivized by the IRS. You know, one thing that I think small business owners forget is that when you use something to help you grow your business, when you have an expense, you know, that you're using to grow your business, the IRS basically incentivizes you to do that. Somebody would say, well, how is that? How are they incentivizing me? Well, you're getting a tax write-off for it. And so they're, you know, the IRS is allowing you the opportunity to grow your bottom line, to strategize, to look to see if you can hire a new staff person that can help, you know, increase productivity. So there's a win-win situation there, that you can increase your numbers, but also be incentivized by the IRS to even have that write-off. So with that being said, Melson, did you have any questions for Daisha?
Oh no, I'm good so far. No, no, this is good. Like when I was listening to when you were speaking, Daisha, it made me think of like almost like when I worked with the government, we did like these or evaluations of budgets and kind of doing a bottoms up approach. You get down to the bare bones, what comprises this budget, and then kind of being forward looking with it as well. So no, this is really good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think that more people, you know,
Mhm.
especially listen, I think I got some folks in the room that may have just started their business, or maybe real estate agents that are listening or watching. We got people that work in the behavioral health industry. We got people that do what is it called? They're mechanics. We have several types of clients that we work with. In the perfect world, you know, if you say, well, these are my clients that I love working with,
Yeah.
um, you know, of course you can work with anyone, you know, but ideally, you know, when you think of like small business owners, like what does that look like for like a trucker, like someone that owns a trucking company or someone that owns like a behavioral health company? Are you familiar with their industries kind of?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I do consider myself industry agnostic, and a lot of people ask, like, which industry do you like the best? And I always say it's more about the person that I'm working with. I really enjoy working with those creative entrepreneurs. They're industry experts, they know their field.
Hmm.
And where I come in and support them is in that analytics and metrics and finances. And what we see across small businesses in the US is that, as far as like daily operations, small business owners excel. Like they are leading in innovation and creativity and ways to run their businesses that make sense for them.
Hmm.
And my goal is to partner with those powerhouses of creativity and bring some grounding when it comes to understanding the data that they've collected and helping them super rev that business when it comes to scaling.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a long answer to your question, but you know, I have clients who are in the industrial sector, similar to my past experience. It's great, but I don't really get into industry consulting at all,
Hmm.
because they know their industry very well. Um, so it really comes back to that general core business, of looking at how does this business operate and
Hmm.
what data have you collected? What are you trying to achieve?
Makes sense. Now, do you do budgeting? Is that part of what your service? So
Oh, yes,
is that
absolutely.
is that one of the fun areas where you like?
You know, it's the fun and touchy area. I
Yeah.
gotta be honest. You know, budgets are never fun. As hard as you try and make it fun, it's always like painful a little bit. But when building pro forma, definitely we're setting budgets. Here's what we plan to spend. Here's what we want to spend, and then we go and put in the actuals. And sometimes there's tough conversations around the ROI of certain expenses.
Hmm.
Um, and we see that, you know, common lines that really exceed the budget are like, meals and entertainment expense lines, um, or other things that don't necessarily have an ROI, but are like, well, it's a business write-off. You know, so it's like, but a write-off only helps you if you're making revenue that justifies it.
Right.
So yes, there are uncomfortable conversations around budgeting, and I'm not afraid to lean into that. One of the things that when I'm working with someone, I'm like, I'm really in your stuff. Like, and it so often ties back to personal spending habits that can leak over into small business spending habits,
Mm-hmm.
and really having super good hygiene when it comes to what are we spending our money on as a small business.
Mm-hmm.
And we have obviously fixed expenses that we can't change. The lease has to be paid, the insurance has to be paid. But when it comes to the slush fund, are we putting our money where it best serves this business?
Yeah.
And that's, it's a hard conversation, but it's a really needful one to have and then hold accountability to.
Yeah. I want to engage the audience a little bit. So those of you that's watching, put down in the chat if you need help with the budget. If you say, I need help, say, I need help with the budget. I think a lot of us need help with budgeting. And there's no need to be ashamed of it, really, because that's the foundation of success in your business, is having a budget. And that's part of business planning as well. But having an expert like Daisha that can walk you through how a budget is formed is always great as well. So if you need help with the budget, put down it. Now, listen, I'm not going to call you if you need help. I just want you to recognize, just put down there. Don't be shy. Just say, I need help with the budget. I'm sure a lot of you already know that you need help. And it's just a matter of just, hey, when am I going to get started on that? But Daisha, you made a good point, because sometimes as business owners, we're just like, let me just spend this money. Let me just spend here without the intent of, is it really going to take you to the next level in your business? Is this really something that's going to help me make more money in my business? And that's the criteria that the IRS set as well. Like they want to know, is this ordinary for your business? Is it necessary? So if you're going to say, I'm going to go out and buy this, I don't know, like this luxury item, and it has no real business use, it's just that you wanted it and you want to write it off in your taxes, that could get rejected by the IRS. But then it's also going back to your budget, saying, is this, aligned with my budget? If it's not aligned with your budget, because already you can tell if you're going to be, meeting your budget, as you're spending each month, or you're going to tell that, I'm not really going to meet my budget at all. Like I'm overspending. I think that when you find yourself either on either side, it can at least help you to start there with planning, going forward. So Daisha, that's a really good point. Any nightmares concerning budgeting that maybe you want to share with our audience here?
Yeah, I think probably, the biggest nightmare I see is having no idea what they're
Mm.
actually spending and not having detailed P&Ls. And I come in, I start looking at it, I'm like, okay, where are we spending our money? And it's like, we don't know. We just, hand all the receipts in at the end of the year and the accountant files the taxes.
There you
Um,
go. That's the common response.
mhm. And, there's really no accountability when it comes to being able to say, this is month end, what did we do last month? And being able to, like, with a few clicks, pull up a P&L and say, oh, we spent this much money here and this much money here. It's just not there. And that's where I think that's a big,
Hey, Denise.
I like a challenge. So is it a nightmare? It's a lot easier for me if the P&L is accurate and good, but I also like a good challenge to come in and say, all right, let's fix this problem.
Yeah.
And a small business owner that I'm working with recently, she said, I used to never open my QuickBooks file. She's like, that was just something my bookkeeper or CPA looked at every once in a while, and I just did my work. She says, now I look at it almost every day. Am I reaching my goal? Am I on budget? Can I spend money at lunch to take this person out today? And she's like, the awareness has just changed the way I run my business.
Wow.
And I'm talking about a small business owner she's very small, been in business 1.5 years. And she, just since working with me in the last 3 months, she's actually seen profit on her monthly P&L. And for the first time, and that is a direct result of budgeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And conscientious spending. It's kind of like being
That's
on
the
a
point.
diet. When you have to write everything down, suddenly you think about what you're eating. And in the
Mhm.
same way, when you're consistently entering your receipts and knowing in 2 weeks, Disha's going to look at this and say, why did we spend $300 on that? What was the benefit to the business? Suddenly it's like, do I need to spend $300 on that? And there's a justification, right? So that piece brings a lot of power
Yeah.
to small business owners.
Very true, because a lot of times as business owners, and I would speak even for myself, you're just moving. I just got to get this done. I got to get that done. I got to deal with staff. I got to deal with, the work being done. I got calls here. I got calls there. I got meetings here. And it's almost like you need that expert or someone that is assisting you with that, because when you're the main person that's involved, then that could lead to a disaster unintentionally, meaning like you overspent. I've even gotten into discussions with clients, meaning like we have some escorts. So all my escort filers, listen, y'all out there, raise your hand, like put a 100 in the drop there, because you're saving money in taxes. Put a 100 there. If you're an S corp, you're saving money in taxes. Let me tell you something. They save money in taxes, but I'm like, you can also increase your tax bill because you're paying yourself too much money. So it's all about how you're budgeting that money and shifting it to resources where you're not being taxed on all of what you're making. Because even though you're an S corp, you still can pay some money in taxes, but you have the leverage to be able to budget and say, with intention, this is how I'm going to budget my life, and this is how I'm going to make sure that I put things in place so my W-2 isn't too high, but I'm also making sure I'm taking advantages of reimbursements from my business. So there's different things, or different conversations that we can have around that to save money in taxes. But yeah, so I know you work with many kind of businesses, but I don't want to forget about my nonprofits. So is there anything special that you do with nonprofits that you may say, kind of like highlight some things or differences that maybe you see with nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that, because literally I just spent 2 hours with a nonprofit this morning.
2 hours.
So I went through a session with them. They're my clients. And, I think one of the things that I see that's significantly different with working with a nonprofit, while a lot of things are similar, is mindset. A lot of people are attracted to working with nonprofits for that very fact, is that it's very people-centered, people before profits. And it attracts a really specific personality type. The challenge with that is that a nonprofit still needs to be at least break even or profitable in order for it to grow and provide more services to the community or demographic that they serve. So bringing some basic business principles to their team makes a really big difference. Also helping their leadership to understand offerings that they can give to the for-profit world and the way the for-profit world looks at value of services. Often we look at nonprofits look at offering their services or like requesting donations. They appeal to compassion or people's desire to make the world a better place. But when they really need the solid donors that they need to know that they're getting an ROI, and the really savvy places that can hand them return donations and see a revenue stream coming in. These people need to know that, say, it's going to better their corporation, that it's going to reduce their liability by engaging this nonprofit to work with them, that their employees are going to have better retention with employees, those types of things. And that's what really stabilizes the revenue streams for nonprofits. So helping to bring, I think the value that I bring to a nonprofit is really about helping them understand the business world where profits are really front and foremost, and help them appeal to that, and also bring some, I want to say, some balance inside their organization to say, if you want to have great employees inside this nonprofit, we need to be competitive with wages, and people might take a 5% cut or a 10% cut to work for some organization they really align with. But at the end of the day, they have to pay their mortgage and save to send their kids to college. So wages needs to be competitive, and that means the nonprofit has to function with a business engine, just like any small business does.
hmm and I think too, and maybe you could speak to this as well. Like as small business owners, sometimes we're trying to figure out, did we price something right?
Mhm,
Or are we getting the value out of something? Like, is this the normal price, or is this the normal price of this particular product or this
mhm,
particular service? And not knowing, like even pricing out staff. I've experienced where maybe a business owner paid someone a good portion of their contract, and they did not keep enough in their business, and so they overpaid, from what I could see, what they received from that contract without
mhm,
considering their line items. And to your point, that's why a budget is always helpful, to know, if I make this much, what am I going to do with it? It's like being intentional with your spending, like being intentional with,
mhm.
once you receive that money, how is it going to fit into your business and help you to produce more income, or take care of your personal expenditures, those types
Yes.
of things.
Absolutely. And it's also about where we spend our time. So often we think about ROI just being on where we're investing our money, but also we need to look at best return on time investment for not only the small business owner, but for their team. Where are they putting their energy, and is it in the places where they're getting the best ROI for that labor? So that's something with small businesses and nonprofits both, that there's a really good balance of those things. I was in Louisville. I said it wrong. Louisville, Kentucky,
Right.
last week, and one of the gals there was doing a keynote, and something she said just stuck with me so much. She said she looks at the way she spends her time, and she says, does it bring me revenue, or does it bring me joy? And she says, I put where I spend my efforts in through those two filters. And I was like, I love that, because I realized that in a small business, there's certain things that you need to do that bring you joy. And with
hmm
creative entrepreneurs, they need to be in those R&D projects. They need to be engaging their creative mind, because it's the core of who they are.
Yeah.
But those things, while they're sometimes the long term plan for creating revenue, they often have bridges to revenue already that get abandoned because they're playing with a new shiny thing and it brings them joy. So
hmm
I just love that concept of like balancing between joy and revenue, and being fulfilled as an individual and indulging the creative side, but also having that person that's grounding you back to, are you spending enough time generating revenue? What's the most important thing? Are we just trying to break even? Okay, then you need to spend this much time to break even. Do we want to profit? We need to spend this much time to get a profit. All right, you can spend 10% of your time in R&D and
hmm
90% of your time in revenue generating, and whatever that is, so that they're really intentional about meeting their goals, and it's not just haphazard.
Absolutely. Good. Good. I love it. So I know you got some slides you want to share with us, some main points that you want to cover.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up all your time where you addressing our questions, but feel
Yeah,
free, if you want to start sharing
sure.
your
Yeah,
screen.
go for it.
Okay.
This slide I really love, because a lot of times when we think of small business owners or entrepreneurs, we think
hmm
of startups, and we think about that person that's in this hustler phase. They're just go, 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 go. And they're really just
Hold
obviously
on, we
needing
got
help.
some hustlers. Hold on, we got some hustlers in the room. I know we got hustlers. Um, I know we
Right?
got some hustlers. Come on, y'all. We got some
But
hustlers.
I know, right? And I love hustlers. It's great. And they're at like the first stage of the entrepreneurial journey. It's like this great start. And it's like you just got out the door. It's like, I just started a small business, like go, go, go. And then they move through these different stages to this last stage of influencer. And I was just telling someone, it's like Sarah Blakey just announced that she just appointed a new CEO for Spanx, and she's like this very public figure of an entrepreneur, and she's gone through all these different stages over the last 20 years, and you can observe it as she's grown her company. And so a lot of people ask me, when you work with small businesses, is it just these startups? And the answer is no. Like every entrepreneur needs support through this journey. And it's not
Yes.
just about supporting the hustler, it's about supporting uh, business owners through their journey of success, which
Mm-hmm.
takes me to the next slide. Um, and that is like the success iceberg, which I love to show people because we look around and we see business owners, and I identify with this so much as a previous small business owner. Of like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, oh, you're successful, you're busy, you work all the time, you know, you own your own home, those kinds of things. And they don't see the underside of the success iceberg of like staying up at night thinking, if I hire that person and it hits worst case scenario, am I taking too big of a risk? Is my cash flow going to be too small? You know, what if I have 5 worst case scenarios with employees? You know, and that the dedication, the discipline to be at work at 6:30 every morning, all these things that entrepreneurs struggle with on a daily
Oh
basis.
my God. Can I chime in there?
Go for it.
Having a job, a, a W-2 that you go and you leave when you go home, and you leave that work at home, it is not the same when you're in business for yourself. All of those things underneath there, disappointment or disappointment, failure, sacrifice, hard work, persistence, discipline, dedication. I mean, that's the stuff that people don't see. So I
Yeah.
have like clients that's doing very well. Like a lot of you are doing very well, but people don't see that they don't see the
Mhm.
other part. Now I see it because some of you call me, even like, Donald, I'm ready to hang this up, and I'm like, hey, listen, I know it's a moment, but turn it around. It's going to turn around for your good. It's gonna turn around right back around and be beneficial. But thank you for sharing. I mean, this really puts some light into what we actually experience.
Yeah. And it's so true. And it's like every stage of that entrepreneurial journey, there's always that look of success that
The
other
look.
people see. And we're really good at hiding
Yes, we are.
the
Social
struggle,
media. Social media is good.
right?
Get some good photos, you good.
Yeah. And that's where, my goal is to support in the areas that people don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the last slide is just like my methodology, I want to say, of how I approach advice. And I know we've covered this a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but just like really finance focused, looking at financials is like the core of this business. It needs to be solid. We need to have great strategy and goals and with finances, but that there's these core propellers that drive the financial and business engine, being your sales, your marketing, recruiting, or people and leadership. And that's the way I approach every small business, is from this method of
Mm-hmm.
how do we run the financial engine well and tie it back directly to the operations on a regular basis. So I just love this little propeller graphic, because when you see it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I get it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's great.
Yeah, I like this. This is good. So the financial engine, help us out. What
Mhm.
does that represent?
Yeah. So if you like one thing, and I wish I need to create a graphic, but I'm not a graphic designer, so I need to go get one of my friends to do this. Is like so many small business owners are industry experts. Almost all of them are industry experts, and they go into business with a service-centered business model. It's all about, how do I get this product or service to my clients? And I like to say, the business is really a separate little engine that's totally different than your product or service. And if this could be the vehicle that's being driven, then your product or service is being delivered by the business. And this financial core is the goal of every business, is to make a profit, to pay great wages and be competitive and to drive revenue. And so we have to take the services out of the middle of the business model and put the financials at the middle. And when this model is strong, then we effectively and efficiently deliver the product or service
Mm-hmm.
to our clients. And it's really a reframing of perception around business for many small business owners, because we often are like, it's customer service first, but we must realize that the goal of the business is to be financially sound and for everyone to be able to be well compensated. So um, my goal is to just support small business owners in understanding this very basic method of running a small business that's highly efficient. And businesses that adopt this mindset see increased revenue, increased profitability, better people structuring, and more products and services delivered to their customers. And
Yeah.
it really makes a difference when they approach small business differently.
Mm-hmm. So when someone wants to scale their business, a lot of people say, I want to scale it, but I don't think I can afford it. I
Uh-huh.
think you hit one of the key points, is that what you do is helping them to increase their bottom line. How do you deal with that person that may not see the vision, and have that thought, how can I afford this?
Yeah. That's a great question. So, and that's like probably one of the biggest objections to working with an advisor is people are like, they see it as just an expense.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's one of the prime conversations that I have with small businesses when they do discovery with me. I spend about 2 hours doing an assessment of any small business for free. That way, there's like a really clear roadmap to how we would work together, and I can see a clear ROI on my engaging with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to come into small business if I don't see opportunity. Every small business that I'm working with has recognized increased profit, even though I'm been added to their expenses. Um, and that's something I'm really proud of, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to maintain that track record. So I'm very careful when I bring on a client to say, okay, I think we can see ROI on this in 3 months. But you know, only if you listen to my advice. So I really say, are you ready for the push? Are you ready for me to
Yeah.
come in and hand you a budget
Yeah.
and say, here's what we're going to do? Because I can come in and drive an ROI for you, no problem. But it
Mm-hmm.
has to be collaborative. I can't run your
Absolutely.
business. I'm going to spend like, uh, you know, 4 hours a month with most small business owners. And it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be fast paced. It's going to be, where are we? Where's the numbers? Let's do an update. Here's the action items. In 2 weeks, we're going to talk again. Go do this, right?
Good points.
Yeah. And in between, I see myself as an advisor more than a coach. I'm not going to be nagging you every day. Did you do it? Did you do it? There needs to be a personal engagement to say, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to take this advice and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of my clients engage a business coach so that that person keeps them on track and using the advice. And that's great too. So every person needs to be introspective and say, how can I get the results I need, and be self-aware enough to know what they need in order to do that.
Yeah, I see one of our team members are on. Her name is Yvette Titus, and she's typically coaching other business owners and
Mm-hmm.
helping them stay on task. So Yvette, thank you for joining us. I think this is a great takeaway, especially for what you do, because small business owners, as you know, don't have the energy or the time to really put into some of the details, like dealing with the budget or dealing with a strategist like Daisha, where you can work alongside with Daisha and be like, we taking what she's giving you, some action item steps, and we're going to help you to make sure you're staying focused. So Yvette will come in and be like, Daisha, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I found out. And then there'll be like a go between, a good medium with that. So those of you that are interested in getting coaching, Yvette Titus is really good with coaching as well. That's the thing. We have a good amount of small business clients, like at least I want to say like 90 at this point. And we have a little over 300 tax clients, and then I'm not even collectively talking about what Mel Son does, because he has his own business, but we work alongside each other Like someone asked about nonprofits, we help set up nonprofits. So Melson is that person that you'll talk to with setting up a nonprofit. But Daisha, you gave some really good points today that we have these takeaways. But if you gave us like maybe 3 points in your closing, if you have 3 points, share with those 3 points, and share with us how we can get in contact with you. I'll post your contact information, but you can definitely share that again.
Yeah, absolutely. Best way to contact me is email for sure, or phone, either way.
And you're
But
on LinkedIn too, though. You're on
I'm
LinkedIn.
on LinkedIn. Check me out. I am the only Disha Cooper. So my mom is creative. She gave me that name that's a handle that's like, there's one in the world. I can't get away
Only
with
one.
anything. You Google Disha Cooper and there's my LinkedIn, right? So it's easy to find. Do that. I love to connect there. And, my top 3 points is, I am committed to the success of small businesses. I want to see creative entrepreneurs take back their market share, and do that through really solid strategy and supporting them in this journey to success. So, I would love to just have a conversation. Like I said, discovery is free. I will spend 30 minutes just, figuring out if discovery makes sense. And then again, 2 hours to do a business assessment and create a roadmap for any small business. And I love to have those conversations. It's great to just talk about where you are. It's always the judgment free zone, and it's really hard to like put your business on the operating table per se and have somebody look at it. But it's really an objective process to say, what does this business need? What are the gaps to solve? And I want
Mhm.
every small business owner to feel safe in that conversation and hopeful that they come away with it to say, here's a clear path forward. We're going to be successful. And that if they engage me, we have a really clear path to success together.
Mhm. I love it, because you come in with a no judgment, zone where he's
Yes,
like, listen, let's just put it all on the table. I'm here to help you to get to your success, what you're trying to accomplish in your business. Disha, thank you so much for sharing this information with us and sharing what you do with small business owners. If you like, you can just hang on in the back, on backstage for us, and we'll definitely
absolutely.
catch up afterwards. But thank you again. Any questions that you all have for Disha, please definitely do not hesitate to send it to her. And again, Disha, we'll be in touch with you. Just hang on for me. So listen, I want to tell you this coming Friday, if you don't have your ticket, shame on you, pretty much. Melson is going to be there. He's probably going to roast me as usual, but I will get him back. No problem there. But the thing is, we're excited about it. We're all celebrating our clients. So, but Melson, thank you. Melson been there with us since the beginning, and with his skill set, I mean, literally, like you all don't understand, like he's great in knowledge, and so am I. So it's great to see people that do the same exact thing pretty much working together, and it makes it very much more powerful than just being alone in business. So Melson, thank you so much for being here, but I want to definitely share something with you all. So Friday is going to be a great networking event for us, and so this is our annual event that we're doing, and we have some great surprises that we're excited about. But the other thing that I want to tell you, like whenever you're working in your business, you got to be, out there. You got to be, boots on the ground. And I know we're talking about the recession and all that, the stock market. Listen, either you're going to focus on that, or you're going to focus on how you can make money, or how you're going to pay your bills. And networking is very key. I'm going to a networking event, and I'm going to share with you in the comments. So definitely click on this. They have billions of dollars in the state of Maryland. Billions of dollars in the state of Maryland. Go check out this link. The link is on Eventbrite, but this is the state of Maryland, and they're getting people together, contractors, subject matter experts, subcontractors that are interested in networking. So this is Monday, October 31st. I'm pushing this because I want you to do well in business, and I want you to get out here and network. I'm going to be there, and this is the Maryland Business Opportunities and Entrepreneurial Training Summit, and it's in person. continental breakfast, lunch with subject matter experts, access to all business opportunity sessions, access to all training workshops, access to prime contractors. So those of you that's trying to get connected to prime contractors, this is a great way to get there. Opportunity to discuss current and upcoming projects with project managers and procurement directors. I'm going to be in the room. Let me tell you something. You don't want to miss this event. Click on the link. I don't care what industry you're in. You're a real estate investor, you're a real estate agent, you are into trucking business, whatever you are in, you should be in the room networking with other people. And that's, that's what I believe, that, that how we all can win is networking and connecting, building relationships. And so definitely check out that event. Melson, you coming to the event, right? I'm putting you on the
Yes,
spot.
yes, I am, Donald.
Awesome, awesome. So Melson's gonna be there too. But definitely get your tickets because it's limited seating. It's not a lot of seats, and it's only $75. But like I said, I think this is great for any business owner to connect with other people. And I mean, I think that's the same price as my event, $75, right? I think it is. But very
Mhm.
interesting. The other thing is, those of you that's going to be there Friday, y'all, we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time. And also, we talked about this before when we got started here today, but we're going to start working on planning the rest of the year to make sure you're positioned to get all the tax deductions that you should get. Okay. The IRS is increasing their audits, and I don't know how they're going to pick the audits or whatever like that, but they're increasing their audits. Somebody put a sad face. What is the sad face for? You can't make it. It's okay. You know what? We'll share information. But they're increasing their audits, and so we're making sure that your taxes are prepared for an audit. So that's that. Any other announcements I have? Oh, I'm teaching at Mount Rainier. You guys, like, there's something else going on. If you're going to be in Mount Rainier tomorrow is going to be in Mount Rainier, and I'm teaching there in Mount Rainier. Um, Hold on, I'm going to post a link, and you all got to check this out too. So that's a whole nother thing. We are like, it's so much stuff going on. There's so much stuff going on. Let me see if I can find the link for it. Yep, I got the link. I'm going to post it. But Mount Rainier tomorrow evening at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We are talking business. It's time to level up. That is what that is. I got you, Deirdre. Welcome, Deirdre. Good to see you. It's time to level up. So I'm a part of the Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce, the Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce, and we're working with the city of Mount Rainier. And I might be saying it wrong, I'm not sure, but it's in Maryland, so city of Mount Rainier. And so we'll be there. I'm gonna be there. You don't want to miss this because we are teaching, we are sharing information for business owners to understand the things that they, what you should be doing in business. So we're talking about business. It's time to level up, and this is what this event is about. So click on the link. We're talking about insider strategies to accessing and sustaining capital. Everybody do y'all want capital for your business? Do y'all want capital? I mean, come on. Do y'all want capital for your business? I know I'm getting into this a little bit, but if y'all want capital for your business, y'all got to click on the link, okay? Because everybody want capital, but then where do you go for capital? You're going to come to this event to find out how to use financial statements to empower your business. And we just talked about that with Disha, using financial statements to empower your business, how to decide on the kind of business formation that is best for you. Many times people trying to figure out, should I be a corporation? Should I be a S corp? Should I be a disregard? Many people, Melson, how many people you come in contact with don't know what disregarded entity is?
Oh, a whole lot.
Many people are disregarded entities. And you're like, disregarded? Yeah,
Mhm.
you disregard it. But a disregarded entity, trying to make sure you understand what does it mean or how that setup looks. And so we're talking about that, how to protect your business from losses. I know someone that had a loss in their business right at the earlier part of the pandemic, and and they hit her personal. She had to file bankruptcy. She had to file bankruptcy because they came after her business. So we're talking about how to protect yourself from losses, okay, malpractice and other damages, and how to plan for a greater financial future, as well as so many other things. So it's time to level up. This is something that's going to be beneficial to you, and the thing is, it's free. This is free. Let me put the address because some of y'all need to know where it is. So it's on Rhode Island Avenue. If many of you familiar with DC, you know about Rhode Island Avenue. So this is the address where we're going to be. So excited about this. Tomorrow at 5:30, City of Mount Rainier. This is free, a free event. Don't miss it. What else is happening? There's something else happening. I'm going to another networking event, I think on Thursday. Isn't it Thursday, Mel?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's Thursday evening. Um, but anyway, I think that's good. So listen, I'm going to start ending here. Don't forget to contact us if you need, anything, if you have questions or whatever that comes up. We're here to support you, we're here to help you, but you're not to do it alone. You don't want to do business alone. You don't want to do business by yourself. You need experts working with you, and we work with our clients. If you're starting a business, another thing I meant to mention, Mel, the process for MBE certification, help us out.
Oh, yes. Those of you that are looking to become MBE certified or Minority Business Enterprise certified through the Maryland Department of Transportation, there's a certification to help you get that visibility if you're looking to compete for local, state, and federal contracts. So it's a free process, but it's rather lengthy. So, but we also assist with that process as well, though, for those who are interested.
And I'm going to put somebody on the spot because I know someone that has their MBE certification and they
Mhm.
don't know how to use it. So how do you use the certification? I went to an event this past week, and
Mhm.
basically you can just walk in the room and get opportunities.
Absolutely.
MBE
Just having,
certified. So
yep,
those
just
need
having,
to
yep.
build streams of income that make sense to get your MBE certification. Um, and Melson can help with the process. If you're interested, again, reach out to us and we'll help you to get that. With that being said, you guys, it's been great. Thank you all. You all have been so great joining us today. So thank you so much. It's time for me to grab something to eat. I mean, I'm sitting here starving, so it's been a long day doing taxes yesterday. But hey, I mean that's the thing that we do. We do taxes and we have fun doing it. Yeah, awesome. I'm glad that you're booked, Alicia. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to working with you. Anybody else that want to get set up, feel free to reach out. We're here to help small business owners. We have a passion to help our small business owners. So we really love working with small business. I'm a small business, but we used to work for big companies, but one thing that's lacking is the resources for small business owners, and we're here to change that. So if you want to be a part of that change, and also one other thing, I meant to share this. If you have youth and young adult, where are my comments? If you have youth and young adults, you want to get them involved in this event. I'm telling you, you don't. Let me share with you this program. So we have the youth and young adult or young professionals program that we are excited about, and I'm getting ready to share with you the link. So you gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. So we have some people that's registered and that's already registered to attend. What is this event? What is this program about? So we're doing our first what is it called? What is that thing called? Zoom. Our first Zoom event on October 27th in the evening. I need all young people, teenagers, young adults to join us on Zoom. So register because we're about to set things up. We work with small business. I mean, young people in their 20s are like killing the industry, doing some amazing things. And they're going to be sharing with our young audience They're going to be sharing on our young audience. So definitely get them registered. Good, Alicia. Yeah, definitely. If your children don't register, register for them. Like you be like, I'm registering for you so I can get this information, because I definitely want to make sure you get the email, the Zoom link, and be able to join us. But this is all about the young people. It's called Next Generation Wealth Program. And we already know wealth isn't just about money, it's a mindset. It's also about your health, all these other things that to think about. But what we're doing is empowering our young people. We're going to teach them, we're going to show them about networking. Networking is very powerful. So when we network with each other, we become each other's resource. So the thing is, with this program, you want to invite your young people, your young generation. These young people, they got some fantastic minds, and we want to pour into them. We want them to network with each other, because when they network with each other, it's going to be amazing. So definitely, this is free. This is free. So definitely get them signed up. I shared the link there. Get them signed up for the Next Generation Wealth Program. With that, everyone, contact us if you like. If you have questions, our number is 443-222-1978. Again, that number is 443-222-1978. I'm a professor at University of Maryland Global Campus teaching accounting, and I'm excited to share that knowledge with our young people, what I know about business and everything. So thank you, Yvette. Thank you all so much for joining us. Deirdre, great to see you. You all have a great rest of your day, and share this video with whoever you know that would find it beneficial. Thank you so much.
Thank you.